Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? Who's ready to get back into this market? And something is telling me, I've already put it out on Twitter, but it seems like we're getting a little bit of some down action today. Will we go into a red day? It is my birthday, so trying to have a good day today, right? Let's get it started. Already taking a trade. Got to keep a close eye on it. I'm short Tesla, thinking about cutting it here because it just keeps coming back to my entry point. But let's see what happens here. The Qs are still weak. Tesla could still bounce here. So we'll see what happens there. Like always, going to continue the battle. Let's get right to the action. Let's take a look at what we can find today. Of course, you guys know where you're at. It's TTP Live. Let's get right to the action. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market right now. We'll take a look at the playbook. We'll take a look at what's moving. There it is. There's that Tesla push. That's what I was trying to avoid right there. I was trying to break even there. But let's see what happens here. The Qs are still falling. Let's get the show started. Google wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. All right, team, let's get right to the action. Already in a trade here, so just want to go ahead and bring it up here. We'll talk a little bit more about different stocks that are moving in the market right now, but I'm seeing a little bit of this pop on Tesla. And was able to make a good gain on Tesla yesterday, but need to go and get after it again today. Yesterday, I missed out on some of the gains just because I wasn't watching the move, and that's a little frustrating. So maybe a little part of me trying to get after it early here, but I see the Qs already losing some altitude. I could see them in the morning already kind of a little bit weaker. Microsoft was weaker, and that gave me a little bit of a sign. And now I'm looking to see if Apple can go red, and look at Apple's reaction right now, just in the last 5 minutes. So I'm looking to see if some of these leaders can go red, and then will NVIDIA just come right back down? It did get a little bit of a pop overnight, but could come right back down. I think we got to continue to watch this out the gates. Qs just leaking here. Will they be able to recover the support around this 537? So if I could see the Qs back at 537, that could be my warning sign to get out of Tesla right now. Have been up on Tesla about 200, down also about 150 on this position. I'm at 40.70, 57, about 170 shares. Looking to see if the Qs can keep leaking, and if Tesla can go back through the 469, I'll be looking really good. And this is all more based also on the daily. The daily has a 471.10 as kind of being that closing price, and that's kind of the level that I think is very important to watch today, right? An opening price below that would be a good sign there for a pullback. Now, of course, Tesla is extended on the upside of things, and you guys can see it here as it hits 92 on the RSI. And it has tendency of getting up here, but very few times as they get up here. And majority of the times when we're past this level, we start to get the turnaround. So I think we can start looking for a turnaround in Tesla. Like always, she's a hard dragon to tame. We'll see if we're able to get a little bit of some action today. I'm going to be looking for this to cut down back through the 468. I'm looking for a little bit of a bigger win on this, right? Just got to be smart here out the gates. Maybe I take the profits here out the gates and then just kind of try to play with a little bit of a cushion there. Doesn't look too bad, though. I'm going to continue watching Tesla. If you guys have a stock you guys are watching in the chat, let me know. We can keep talking about certain stocks out there, and let's get to some of the playbook action this morning. There's some stocks to watch, and there's some catalysts that I want to mention, so let's get to it. Right, first stock on the playbook and the radar is NNE, already getting a lift off the 26, and I'm watching this as the nuclear space has gotten a pullback and then now having another catalyst in nano nuclear. And what was that catalyst? Let's talk a little bit about it. As, of course, nuclear stocks are heating up, as, of course, there was a nice little push, and this came with a collaboration with iHost technology to bring microreactor tech to a 60 megawatt power plant in New York. Could this spark the breakout above 27? I think we keep this on the radar today to look for that spark above the 27. Yesterday, we went just right up there. We went to 27.17 and turned around. So let's see if we can recover that 9 EMA and start to press back towards the resistance, towards maybe 29.50s or 30 could be in play on a good day. Let's see what happens with that one. Of course, watch the other player in SMR to see if we can get continued strength in both of these names. Tesla. You guys have already heard me call the short. I'm already am short, but also calling it on the playbook because I just feel like at the end of the day, it's too extended. It could come back here to the 473 and stop me out today. Like always, guys, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen right now, but I can see this setting up after an unstoppable rally. It seemed like we'll see if this is time for a reality check for Tesla. And I'm looking at that 471.10. That's going to be a major level to watch. And the last one, a short on NVIDIA, because I feel like this pop was just a clear example of kind of that dead cat bouncing right there on that 9 EMA. Now, if it can get back above the daily 9 EMA, then yes, you're looking a lot better. But if you reject that level today, which is 135.44, and then you come right back down towards the 130, this is going to be looking pretty ugly. And at the end of the day, NVIDIA is looking pretty ugly. I know a lot of people are trying to play this on pullback, and I can't blame them for it because the amount that NVIDIA has gone over this year, yeah, I think that's what draws you to this stock, right? 131%. But I want everyone to not forget, right? This stock has been essentially running for 2 years. This stock is essentially up 780%. At some point, this stock is going to be what? It's going to be viewed as valued correctly, right? Like where essentially it would need to continue lifting the bar to continue going higher. And I think at this point, that bar is pretty high already. So we'll see what happens there. Tesla getting another hit with the Qs going lower here. As you can see, the Qs now cutting down on the 15 and cutting down a little bit lower. It did get a little bit of a bounce. We'll look to see if we can continue getting the wash. Next level to watch for is 536. We're through that and we're starting to really lose altitude. Of course, 537 is on the bounce. Tesla back into the green there for me, and it's just kind of going all over the place. Now I need to look to see if it can break towards the 468 and start to break this trend line. Of course, this one doesn't really have multiple points, so that's one thing I'd keep on the radar. I'm just drawing this kind of as an estimated line because really it's kind of sticking on this top line, and that's one thing that we can look to see. If it comes back above towards this, that's a green outlook. Above that line, you could get green action. So I always like to give both sides of the trade. We'll see what happens there in Tesla. Breakdown through 468 could really start to break down back towards 463. And yesterday's low price of around the 455, I think it was on this first dip here, 457. And that was the one that I kind of messed up on. Didn't catch the dip, and then I got out for a $400 gain when it should have been near $1,000 gain. But we won't talk about that. That's a little frustrating one on Tesla yesterday. Let's see if I'm able to capture it today. All right, we'll see if this can come down towards the 469 and break that now. That's where we just were on the prior action. All right, looking around out there, I'm seeing Apple also leaking a little bit, Microsoft. So keep your eyes on those names. Google has been strong. Amazon's been strong. If those start to leak, that's why I'm looking to see this downturn come in. And what is today, of course? Today is Jerome Powell Day or FOMC Day, whichever one you want to call it. I say it's Jerome Powell Day because that's really all we care about. I mean, yes, we pay attention to the other talking heads in the Fed, but what will we be watching today? Of course, at 2 p.m., you get the PDF release from the federal website. So catch that, of course. That's going to be right on your federal website. You guys can just Google search it, right? But that comes out at 2 p.m. What I suggest everyone doing is using your lovely Chat GPT, your Claude from Anthropic, right? And doing a quick summary on that. Then going ahead and listening in on the conference. The conference starts at 2:30. That's really where the fireworks start. The reason why I want you to do the summary of the press release is because that's exactly what he reads. When he comes on there, he literally looks down and reads it word for word. When he's done, he takes questions. That's when the fireworks really kick off. That's when the roller coasters can really start. And that's when you really start to see that up and down kind of action that could really shake the market. What will be the idea to look for? Well, look to see what happens with the forward outlook, right? They call it the dot plot. So if you guys don't know the dot plot is essentially a forward outlook, an estimation of when we could see interest rates come down to what level. And these are usually even years out, right? So I think it's just important to kind of keep a watch on that. That's what a lot of the economists look at immediately. So keep your eyes to see the outlook there. Of course, 25 basis points is the expected cut. Let's see what happens today. All right, let's get back to the market here. Still seeing that declining action coming in. And where could you guys have gotten that declining action? Of course, you guys just check out my Twitter. If you're not following me already, you're missing out, guys. So definitely give me a quick follow here. And I'll give you guys the link. And like always, we have Trade the Pools Twitter up, and you guys can check that one out. I'll give you guys the link to that if you guys aren't already following. We put out information all the time that could give you the edge in the market. So here's those two links. Definitely click the link there. It's good to see you out there, Linda. Happy birthday. Appreciate the love. It's definitely good to see you guys out there. And we're going to keep pushing today. We'll see what we can find and what we can come up with. Definitely rate decisions coming in today. Going to be shaking up the market. Let's get back to it here. We'll talk some more about it. We'll get into the sunrise report. We'll talk about what's going on out there. We've already talked about the decision, but there's some stocks moving out there that we can talk about. You got General Mills, you got J-Bill, NVIDIA, of course. We've already talked about that. But let's get to some of this action on today's sunrise report. Boom, and down she goes the Qs. So now up about 300 on Tesla as the Qs just keep dropping here, guys. So now I'm going to look to see if this can continue to break here, but I'm going to go ahead and take some profits here, guys, because this position has been pretty tough to stay in. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit off here. Look to try to get some off of that. The low has been where? The low is right now at 468.68. So I'm looking around that level to go ahead and take the profits there. I got 85 right now available to me. I'm going to take the 469.85s there, 468.85s. Let me see if I can get that now. And then this could go to 468 here, but let's see if it can keep dropping here. I'm pulling it down a little bit just to try to get a little bit of a drop. Let's see if we can get a little bit further drop here. The Qs are dropping fast, man. The Qs are dropping fast. A little part of me definitely going to go ahead and post that picture because that was a great call out earlier today. Let's see if we can cut down here. Still not getting that action, so I'm taking off my order there. We could get a bounce here. I'm just trying to get it back down towards that low. It was a little bit slow reacting there, so pretty much trying to get this back to above 300 to take 150 off here, or a little bit more than that 150. Let's see if we can get that action here. Q's going down fast there. Now we're getting that action down towards that level. Let's see if we can go ahead and take the profits here. I'm going to go ahead and go for it here. Let's see it. Come on, come on. Just a little tick more. A little tick more here. All right, just put it out there, trying to get the profits there. Let's see if we can get it now. There we go. Just grab some there, guys. So it just took that 173 there, at least giving myself a nice little cushion now to leave the rest break even and just let it work. It just takes the stress off for me. A lot of times I will be able to hold and just keep it going. Really what I want to see now is the 9 EMA rejection. So nothing above this 469.40s. So if that happens, I'll definitely go ahead and react here. I'm going to send an alert right above it. If it comes back, it hits that alert, I'll be paying attention. If not, let's see if we can really continue to break this down. And this was an outlook, of course, that you guys could have got on my Twitter this morning. So definitely, if you're not watching it, hey, I don't know what you're waiting on, guys. But down she goes. Down she goes. Qs. Drop that mic, man. Drop that mic. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Definitely not a bad day here, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can capitalize on this Q down move. All right, guys. So we was able to take at least a little bit of profits here. We'll see if Tesla bounces, right? Not going to freak out. Just going to continue to watch it and let it work. Now down to 468.30s here, guys. So definitely, this is starting to give me a nice little profit. And we all know how Tesla can just continue to drop. So that's what I'll be watching for. On bounces, of course, I'm going to protect myself and just try to make a little bit more cash today. Let's see what happens with this Tesla. All right, guys, let's go. Let's see what else is out there. And if you guys in the chat see a trade out there, let me know. I know there's a small ones moving out there. We'll take a look at some of those names coming up. We got quantum to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get back. Of course, Sunrise Report is what we were talking about. But, man, what an action on that move. Let's go to General Mills here and talk about General Mills. General Mills was down a pretty good amount. General Mills, sorry about that. That's GIS. Sorry. I went GM just because General Mills sank 5% after slashing its 25 outlook. Adjusted earnings per share are now expected to drop 3% to 1% compared to the earlier guidance of a 1% decline to a 1% growth. So essentially, it had given a optimistic 1% growth outlook, and now it's telling you potentially it's always going to be a drop 3 or drop 1%. So really negative action there for General Mills. This is going to go ahead and affect the space, I think. And I think you can watch this trade to kind of turn. I was watching this trade start to get a little stronger, and that's the XLP. And we talked about this when this got the little lift. Now it's pulled back, and it doesn't look as strong as it did. So I think this is one that you got to be careful of. And I think you watch to see the other ones in this space to see if we see some more downside come in on these, like Kraft Heinz. Right. And so this one doesn't look very bullish, and it looked like it could drop down a little bit further. Of course, Kellanova is in the same space, and you see it down also. We'll see what happens on this Kellanova if it does take a little bit of a dip, but definitely something to look at. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to Merck here, and we can take a look here, Merck, and then we're taking a look here because I think it's an interesting area to watch. Healthcare was really strong yesterday, getting a little bit of a bounce. Could this bounce? I think this is still weak, guys. This has broken trend and hasn't really come back. So I don't feel too strong about this, but definitely you can see it even on the weekly. It comes back to the 9, rejects it. Come back to the 9, rejects it. Just doesn't want to get above. This did add 1% after inking a $2 billion deal with Hanson Pharma for development of an obesity drug. But I mean, come on, man. You're talking about obesity drugs now. You're kind of late to the game and late to the party. Yes, this will give a lift, but I think it will be short-lived. All right, let's go to Ollie's bargain outlet, as that got some news out there. Ollie's getting the rip off towards 118. There's a lot of dollar stores struggling, but I think one of the things that helps Ollie is that it doesn't act as a dollar store. It just acts as a discount store. And that's what you want to be seeing. And I think that's what you're going to see in the long run. Dollar Tree and Dollar General, I think they need to change their names. They're not dollar stores anymore when you go in there, right? They're $1.50 or $2 stores. And that's like the same thing that you see in, let's say, just comparable to make a joke out of it, right? In the New York dollar slice pizzas, right? You see dollar slice pizza right on the front of the store. You go inside and they charge you $2 for that slice. Well, welcome to inflation, and welcome to Ollie's bargain outlet as this goes higher. It popped over 3% after Citi upgraded the stock to buy. They're seeing good stuff cheap model thriving in any market, right? So with a $133 price target, they're implying a 15% upside. So Ollie's with a big push. And is that an all-time high? Let me see here. I know that this has this little spike right here, 123. No, we're close to the all-time high. We'll see if we get through that today on Ollie's. Now, here's one that you guys might have not known before. But what about Birkenstock Holdings? And in the chat, let me know if you guys know this name, right? Because this is a really interesting name. I've actually heard multiple people start to mention this one. So Birkenstock, of course, is that shoes. It's kind of like a fashion shoe. I don't know these shoes really. I think they're kind of more in your fashion area. But the expectations here, they beat the EPS with a 21% year-over-year revenue growth. And it just seems like it's just something that's being searched on. So I think this is one that at first came out and yet held and didn't make a big lift, but now it's on the takeoff. So I think this is something to definitely watch. I saw a lot of people talking about this. I also saw there that Dumb Money was talking about this. I know they made a bunch of bad picks lately, but this was a good pick, I think, of one of the picks that they were talking about. They were talking about tons of picks, but Birkenstock, definitely one to watch here. Good lift there towards 60.75. We'll see what happens with this footwear and accessories spot. And also, what about Nike? Nike has earnings coming in on Thursday. I think you keep watch on this. It's going to be interesting to watch, especially after the earnings. We'll see what happens there in Nike's. Will Nike be $60 or will it be $90 as it starts to come out of this earnings report? We'll find out, man. It's going to be an interesting one. Of course, what will Jerome Powell, the big bad wolf, signal some more rate cuts ahead? I don't know today, but I'll definitely be trading on the action. Qs continue down here now, going a little bit lower here. Let's see if it breaks the 5-minute low and keeps it going here. Tesla now down to 467. So yes, I could have maybe held on a little bit more, made some more money, but look at that. Look at the gain now, guys. 224 plus that 170. Now we're talking a really good gain here. So if we can get to like 466, I just might take the cash and run here, as I don't think we're going to get to 460 here, but definitely we're losing altitude. And I'm just watching the Qs to see when that gets a little bit extended. So the Qs right now, you can see that the 9 EMA is really starting to get a little bit extended. Now we're breaking through support. So I'd look at the hourly and I'd say, when could we stop? Maybe a little bit of this kind of bottoming around here on the 535 area. So maybe another 50 cents there. I don't know when we're going to stop this leak. Of course, it's just a leak. So I'm just trying to ride the momentum. Let's see what happens here. Can we go back through that 467? Almost taking the money and running here in Tesla. All right, we'll see if this can go down towards that 466, definitely around there. I'll just take the money and run because, man, this is a monster trade already. Let's see what happens here. There's another break there on the Qs, but slowing down is a sign that we're starting to see a little bit of some movement back towards the upside. I'm getting ready here to take the money and run on Tesla. And the big part of this is I just want to build up a cushion and then look to trade the open, right? We'll see if we get this downside to come in. All right, so there we go. Let's see if we can get it here. 467 breakdown. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can get the 467 breakdown into the 466 area here. Let's go. Let's go. One more kind of break to the move. There's 466, 65s there. Big break there on the Qs. Another leg lower there now on the Qs as things just start to lose more and more altitude. All right, putting out the 466 here, guys. Going to go ahead and try to cash in here. Let's see if we can get it. Canceling it right now. It kind of slowed down as soon as I put it out there. So I'm just looking for it to hit the Bollinger Band on the bottom side and maybe cash out here. Getting a bounce already, guys. Thinking about maybe taking the money and run, but I'm just looking to see this stay as a red candle here and just keep kind of looking for the cut down. The Qs, though, cutting down there definitely now towards 535.25. So we're almost to that 535 spot where I feel like we could get a little bit of a bounce there. There's the cut down that I was kind of looking for here. 466. Let's see if we can get it here. Now 466.40s. Don't want to get too picky here. Just looking for the cut down. I'm going to go and take it, guys. I just took it. Guys. I just said, you know what? Let's just take the money and run, Mitch. Not a bad trade at all. $450 to start the day. Could get some more here. Tesla could keep dropping. The Qs could keep dropping. But the truth is, got to take that money and run just in case we get a bounce and then the cut down today. Because it's not going to be just easy, right? But hey, great trade action already done there. Taking the money, starting it off with a little bit of some rain. Let that money rain on my birthday. Let's go. Let's go. I need to go have some fun. I need to go to, I think I'm going to go to an Orlando Magic game. Orlando Magic versus the Heat this weekend. What? Who's in the O-Town? Who's in O-Town? Who wants to go to Orlando? All right, guys, we'll see what happens there. Q's starting to bounce. And where did it go? It went close to that 535, 535.12. So already took the money out, took the cash this morning. Can't be mad about that. Good action there on the short for Tesla as we take the money and run. All right, we'll see what else is out there, but definitely good action on that first break. Can't be mad about it. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there, but pretty good action this morning. Can't be mad about that, man. It's been great trading today already to start the day. And let's go to some of these smaller names and talk about those names that have been moving today. Of course, we can go to Quantum. And you guys in the chat, what's up out there, guys? Wake up. Why so little traders out there this morning, guys? We got to get some more traders in here. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button and hit that share button down below. We got to get some more traders in here. I'm going to do the same. I want to get some more traders out here, guys. So definitely smash the like. Let's keep going, guys. Let me see what I can do here. Let me get this going a little bit. Wake this up a little bit here. I think that's a part of it. I don't know why these posts just keep getting a little messed up on the videos. I need to go ahead and kind of let them know about it. For some reason, the posts are not coming out the same way. But I'll find out about that, guys. Smash the like, guys. Let's keep things going here. Let me just go ahead and send it. Let me send something over here, guys, and make sure they're fixing this. All right, Q's taking another leg down there as it rejects the 9 EMA there, and you can see the move right back down there. Tesla got bounced there to 468, now coming right back towards the 467. Could keep losing altitude here is Tesla, of course, and what is it doing? It's clearly going away from this candle, so definitely not looking too bad this morning. We're going to continue battling. Let's go, team. Let's see what we can come up with today, guys. Not looking bad at all, guys. All right, guys. Not bad at all, man. Not bad at all. We'll see what happens out there. Definitely catch the playbook, guys, every single day on our Twitter so that you guys can see the trades before the action, right? All right, not looking too bad there. We'll just keep it going. We'll keep it going here. All right, guys. All right. Starting to see that we're getting a little lift, a little bounce. But one thing that I'm clearly seeing, and I think it's the important thing to watch today, is especially looking at Tesla, looking at Apple, looking at Microsoft to see if those names start to break down. All right, not looking too bad there. Let's keep it going. Let's go ahead. What's up out there? Why did the market leak? I think it's sometimes just more about the kind of the situation that we're in, right? We're riding the euphoria right now. And one thing, Vic, that I will tell you, and I think that every trader should think about this, and shout out to my man, of course, Dennis Dick, that we've talked about this. I think what's important is also thinking about things in kind of the max pain trade. So I was taught this, and I think it's very important to think about this. Where can the market hurt the most? And a lot of times the market likes to hurt the most, right? Because the truth is majority does not win in the market. It's the minority. So if you want to be part of that minority, you got to also understand what the majority is doing, right? So the herd has a tendency of driving the market, right? But then at some point, even the market likes to wash out that herd. So I think that that's what we're seeing today is a nice bullish reaction, a nice bounce, and then now getting wiped out on. Doesn't mean that it's going to be red all throughout the day. The FOMC around 2 p.m. or 2:30 could change this tune, or it could change at the open, right? I think what we clearly are seeing, though, is that the strength, that euphoria from the elections is starting to slow down a little bit. And this is just a warning sign. That's all it is. Sometimes, and it's happened before in the last Trump election, right? We did get this little glimpse of a pullback, and then it just burst out to another run. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to do that. But can we get some downside today? I think we could play in. You guys see my kind of banner over there on my screen. It says happy birthday all the way, but I didn't want to fill it all the way in the back there. But looking good here, guys. We'll see what else we can find. Let's go to the smaller names. I'm going to go to the scanner here and just start taking a look at those to see what's moving out there. We got a couple names moving out there. Let's go take a look. WIMI getting a lift right now, a dollar stock just pushed above this ad agency. So it's just getting a nice little lift. I like the daily on this. I don't think it's going to lift too much more, but look at the daily or the weekly. Looks pretty decent. Maybe 150 in play with this one. I don't think it's like a big runner, but it's something to look at. All right, we'll take a look at some of the biggest moves today. Let's go to take a look at some of those. Here's one that's moving right now, TCBP. This was above $1 earlier, went from 50 cents, 60 cents, all the way up there towards 125. I tried to get in this one, guys, around the 68 cents spot, and then it really quickly jumped to 75 and 79, and then I just said, all right, well, I can't get this one anymore. Why? Because I was trying to risk about 10 cents, not risk 20 cents, and then this one just took off. But doesn't look too bad there. We'll see if it gets back above $1. You got to be careful with these, of course, penny stocks, because that's a lot of how these move. So take a look here at TCBP. This one got the nice lift. I was trying to get in around this kind of break of this high here. You can see around 62. I tried to get in at 68. Wasn't able to get that entry. Now we'll look to see if TCBP can go ahead and make the next move. All right, we'll keep it going, guys. What else is out there, guys? Smash the like. Happy birthday, young Mitch. Well, hopefully I stay young, my friend. Like always, not sharing my screen. Thanks, Eli. Thanks for waking me up there. Maybe a little birthday jitters there. Appreciate the love, Kevin. We'll take a look around out there, but definitely a good morning to everyone out there. Day trade with Tony. How's the accounts going, my friend? Any good shorts today? Let me know, man. All right, appreciate the love, Vic. We'll keep it going. We'll take a look at some other trades out there. Of course, the quantum trades are doing really well. We'll see how those trades continue. And looks like I'm getting those birthday calls right now. Jerome. It looks like it's no, it's actually not Jerome, guys. It's my dad, but I'll give him a call a little later. I know how it is. He's trying to give me a call for my birthday, but I'll let him know. I'm on right now. I'm live. All right. We'll see what else is moving out there. Look at this one, BIOA. So this one got a nice little pop there to 5. It's now coming sideways here. Couple wicks on the bottom side of this 450. Looks pretty decent here, this BIOA here. We'll look to see if this one can get the lift. That's just something that I saw kind of getting the push here. I'd like to see it show up on the scanner again. It's up only about 13%. So this is one that I would just put on the radar, right? Why not just keep a close eye on it? We'll see what happens with this one. If it can get back above the 470s, I think it could start to pop through 5 and maybe make a quick run here, right? Towards the high. The high right here, 530s, but I think you could push above that. Let's take a look at the daily level. It looks like this is one of those like kind of gap downs trying to come back here. That's where it gets hard, right? Because it's on a gap down. It needs to get above this gap down spot, which is 575. And you don't really know if it's going to be able to do that. So just mentioning that, right? I think that's definitely something that you can look for. Doesn't mean that it's going to always work out there, guys. But we'll see what else is up here. I'm seeing some names that are up, some names that are down. Micron bouncing back today. Lulu Of course, I've talked about this one for a while now. I think this one's definitely one to watch if you're looking for retail. I've traded Lulu before. I think one thing with Lulu is you got to be careful with the spread and stay kind of smaller until you can get that move. There's that BIOA, right, that I just talked about. It just did another little spike there towards the 470s. Let's see if it really takes off towards the 480s. And you can see this 5,000 order there at 490s. That's your wall right now that you're going to run into. We'll see if we get through that. A bat, American battery technology. Yes, seeing more battery technology being mentioned out there is important. I actually talked about this theme this morning on another channel, another family that I like to take part in, which is Pre-Market Prep. Of course, I actually came from that, and I actually talked a little bit about this, of how we're having some battery players move. Microvast is one of those that has been making the move here. We'll look to see if this can continue. You can see the daily chart there, but QuantumScape is one that I'm keeping a very close eye on, and you can see how it's starting to pivot back. So I keep this one on the radar. I think this is one in the long run that will become a winner out of the SPAC game. Of course, it needs to get all the way up there to 10, but this one's had a lot of volume in the last couple of months. So just look for this to really start to bottom, start to make an approach back to 6. It's definitely something that I want to keep an eye on, but it needs to get back through 6. I'll create this for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, to see when QS can go ahead and break that. All right, let's keep it going, team. If you guys have any trades out there that you guys want to take a look at, keep them up. Keep them up. PLRZ, another one that I was looking at. Of course, this one's a big mover today, up already a massive amount. I think it's up 174%. I was watching this one as it did a couple of undercuts under 3 and tried to pop above 3 a couple of times. I think it is trying to reload here. Look at it on the 15-minute, though. It's fooled a lot of people here now. So I think it's now time to maybe get that rip right before the open here. Let's see if it does get that rip back through 3 right before the open. It's 9:13 here. I don't like playing the penny stocks right here before the bell. Just because I've been cut out so many times right before the bell on trades like this. So we'll see what happens. But PLRZ, definitely on the setup. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's catch up with the chat. What's up out there, guys? I'm seeing OKLO. Good news this morning. Yes, I could see that. And the space is actually looking better too. So OKLO, add it to the watch list. We'll see what happens there. Clean Spark still in play. Yes, but I'm seeing more the crypto platforms take my attention, because the miners have just not gotten the lift that I expected because of the underlying asset behind the miners, right? And so a lot of times you'll see the underlying asset move first, and that's Bitcoin. That's what we're seeing. So I think Clean Spark will have its day, but it might take a little while for that to happen, right? So I'm looking more at like Coin and at Hood to be the stocks that I'd watch, right? So we'll see what happens on those. Can they continue to lift? They've already had the lift, right? So we could see continued push. Another one to look at is just Ethereum overall, because if Ethereum is going to make a move, that's something to look at. I'm continuing to play this. I've talked about this since it was down here at 7. And what has happened? Exactly what I expected, which was that Bitcoin would continue to run, but Ethereum would start to play catch up. And if anything, if you look at relative gains from the recent action, I think Ethereum up is more, right? I'm going to give you guys the specific numbers. I just got to pull them right quick because I don't have the updated numbers for today. But overall, I'm looking at Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin for a little while as it plays catch up. And then, of course, Bitcoin comes back in as the leader. All right, we're getting a mention here today. I need to catch what's up out there. Sir, I took an entry on my setup on some Forex in both risk to return 1-3 and 1-4. Hit my target, but exited the trade at 1-1. This is happening to me with every day. The entry is perfect every day. Okay, so what I would say to this, right, is if you're going for a 1-3 and 1-4, and you're exiting the trade at 1-1, what's going on here? What's going on here is you're not sticking to your system, the setup, right? And so sometimes it's very important to understand that, hey, dude, you're going to lose sometimes. And that could be what's going in here. Maybe you're being too risk adverse. I know this is more futures game, and I'll let the question go by because this could be played into stocks the same way it could be played into the Forex market. But I think that what you look at here is am I trading my system? Did something in my system tell me I needed to get out? And if you don't have outs for a reason, then you're just making an emotional decision, which is what? Subjective. So try to make your trading a little bit more objective in knowing that, hey, I'm going for a 1 to 4. If it goes and doesn't work and I get my risk out, well, that's just the way the trades need to be, because my system tells me to trade it this way. And I trade my system. I don't trade what I'm seeing, right? I don't just trade and change my objective system because I'm getting emotional during the trade. Another thing to look at is what kind of psychological factors could be pushing you to take the money fast. Is it limiting beliefs? Do you really think that you can't get that gain? Or maybe the size is too big. Maybe if you downsize, you're going to be willing to actually take it to that reward point. Wish you the best of luck out there, guys. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look around out there. Let's kick things off, really. Let's get the volume going up here. Let's get the energy, the vibe going. Of course, you guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Get it up. Get it up. Let's go. All right, guys. ETFs, another smaller name that was moving past that $1 spot. This one's continued, guys. Pulled back to that $1 spot and reloaded through that $1 spot. So pretty hot there. MTech giving a nice little move there. So this is another one, $4 move there, guys. This one's up there to 390s, just hit 4. We'll see if this can keep pushing. ABAT up at that 126, looking like it wants to make the move. We'll see if this can continue moving. Doesn't look too bad there. Nuke, I'm calling this one NUKK. I don't know what this one does, man, but the name is kind of funny. Nuke 'em. The hourly, look at the 90 EMA on this bad boy. I like the hourly on this chart, so I'd keep this one on the radar. It needs to get back up there, but this is the big mover, guys. This thing was up there to 1860. So in the pre-market, we got a spike to $24. I'd keep this one on the radar at least, just because it could move a lot, man. And this thing also is trading 9.5 billion shares, so it's not like it's trading small volume. I'd keep this one on the radar. Was really hot yesterday. So that's one thing to think about, right? And it looks like this one just came out of a recent stock split. So a lot of times those stock splits can make a big move and then come right back down. So just be careful out there with NUKK. Nucleus? I think it's called Nucleus, and interesting name. Let's just say that much. All right, what's going on out there, chat? How we doing? OPTX? Is this done going up, man? This is a pump and dump, man. I'll just say it like that. But we'll see what happens with this one. It was going up yesterday, and I thought it would pull back there yesterday. But look at this out move here, guys. It spiked to 510 and came right back down. In about 15 minutes, it was up from 510 all the way back down to 391. So just be careful with this name. I don't think it looks sexy. I think you're looking more at the quantum names. Those names have been really hot. Look at the continuation. Even yesterday, QUBT went right back up. I tried to short QBTS yesterday, got out on a break even, but this was looking good for a breakdown. Today, it could be the day, right? It's one of those things where, it could take a little bit, but now we're starting to see these stocks really overextended. We'll see what happens today. IonQ up there to 41. I mean, that candle tells me to be careful. So I'm going to be watching to see what happens to those names today. NVDL is one of the names that I'll be watching to see if we start to short NVIDIA today. We'll find out. Qs overall, remember I talked about them losing altitude. They are losing altitude. They're down to 535 where we talked about. So we are getting a little bit of a bounce there. Tesla is at 466, 467, pretty much right where I took the cash, right? It could go lower here though. I'm looking for a bounce out the gates if I could get it. Maybe to this red trend line, maybe to 470 and then the cut back down, but hasn't been a bad trade already in Tesla. All right, we'll see what other trades we can come up with here. Going to continue to watch it. That CGTX still moving really well. I'm looking around to see if there's anything else being talked about on the streets, but definitely smash it up. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, seeing some love out there in the chat. It's always good to see you guys. Appreciate you guys. If you guys did give me a nice follow, let's go. Let's go. Let's make that money. All right, guys, we'll see what happens here with Tesla, if it can kind of get a little bit of a bounce and get back in it. OKLO is one, of course, to watch today, and that's going to be making your move, right? I mean, this news, let's bring you the news, right? Exactly what it was. OKLO trading higher after the company and Switch signed a non-binding master power agreement to deploy 12 gigawatts of OKLO in Aurora's powerhouse project through 2044. So not looking too bad. Is this company in Colorado? Let me just check here. I believe this company is out of Colorado. I might have to go check this company out, guys. You know, one of my things that I love to do, guys, is actually go check out these companies and understand their products and things like that. I've done actually a tour before on a hydrogen and kind of a power plant truck. I don't know if you guys knew Hyliion. It still exists, but they don't do the truck anymore. But man, that was such a great experience. So I'm looking at OKLO here to see where their headquarters are out of. Who knows? Maybe I go and check it out. Maybe I can go check out OKLO in person and see what's going on with this thing. Let's see. I'm looking around to see where they're located in. I think it's Colorado. I might have to go check them out. OKLO, guys. We'll see if it gets the lift there. VSTE, a known runner here. VSTE was moving earlier this morning, had a nice looking pattern this morning. This was the first lift, right? I just keep it simple, right? I take a look at that. You can see how you were pushing. You kind of got a little bit of a pattern right here off of this, eventually going through that level, the 270 level, really breaking out there to 4, then coming right back. And now you've had a little bit of a bounce, one down, two bounce, two down. Looking for that third bounce to come back to 3, and then maybe a little bit of a pullback, a reload, and then this thing could really get going back there towards 4. I'd keep it on the radar, but it's going to take a little while, right? I think I could see it around, let's say, maybe around 10 a.m., breaking 3. So I'd keep it on the radar. Doesn't look too bad there, but we'll look to see if we get a run in this one. That's VSTE. I'll alert around 285 for VSTE. All right, guys, if you guys have a stock you guys want me to take a look at, now's your shot, guys. It's 9:24. Keep them going in the chat. Let's go. Smash the like. All right, guys. Might need to go get a little bit of some OJ. I could use another coffee, but that's going to take a little while. You know, one of the great things about espresso is that they really kick me up. But I'll tell you another thing. Takes me a little while to make one. But I'll tell you guys something. Definitely Merry Christmas to you guys out there. Merry Christmas indeed, guys. So hope you guys are having a good one with the family, enjoying the time. My birthday is 7 days away from Christmas Day. It's always been the double present to me because the truth is, I just enjoy this time. It's a great time, the December month. So I hope you guys are having a great time in your trading accounts and continue going forward. I'll tell you guys one thing, though. Keep a watch to see what we come out with to give you guys some presents for Christmas. Hint, hint. If you know what I mean. Stick around, guys. Like always, Money Mitch trying to give you guys the insights. All right, let's keep it going. Let's see what else is out there. NUKK, one of the top names to watch. QUBT, of course, the quantum names, already getting a little lift here, this 1940s. We'll look to see if that can continue making the move. The Qs overall, down she goes to start the day. We'll see if she gets a bounce here at the 930. Tesla did get the bounce there. I'm glad I took the profits. Now I can give myself an opportunity to get back in. It is rejecting that line right now, but I'm going to give it a little bit here right out the gates. I think it's something to watch for. I'll be watching NVIDIA to see how much downside she wants to come in here right out the gates. If NVIDIA rips to the upside, that's going to be my warning sign that we can get a reversal in the tech trade. Micron is a good stock to look at for if we have an up day. If we have an up day, Micron is definitely one of those names to watch. If we have a down day, this could easily come to the 9 EMA, which is around the 105.35. BOIA still trying to make the move there. I keep putting an alert there, and it keeps hitting my alert, but not going above the $5 spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the $5 alert. So it doesn't alert me anymore until it actually makes the move. That's BIOA. All right, we'll see what happens on that. Sound is showing me a little bit of an alert there. Molinator moving today. Oh, good Lord. If this thing starts moving, we already know the dash for trash is happening. Be careful out there, traders. We'll see what happens today. Apple, big sign, a big warning sign for me that it's red right now and going red, going deeper red, right? So keep your eyes on that, guys. Definitely seeing some downside action here. Take a look here at Apple as you're seeing that downside can leak a little bit in Apple. You're seeing also around Microsoft. You're seeing the big boys getting hit a little bit here right before the open. That's why I feel we're down. Because if we think about it in sector-wise, right, technology has been, kind of hanging in there. You can see it still looking bullish. But take a look at the other sectors and how ugly they look. Energy, pretty ugly. Utilities, pretty ugly. Financial services, ugly. Industrials, ugly. Defensive, ugly. Technology, yeah, hanging in there. Communication services, ugly. Consumer cyclicals, hanging on by a thread. Basic materials, ugly. Healthcare, ugly. Real estate, ugly. What does it tell me? What is that telling us, guys? That's telling us that we need to be careful. The market breath is disgusting right now. The market needs some Listerine or something. So I think you got to continue to watch to see what happens here. One sign could be that we stay in this kind of selected market. So there's still a few names that are doing well. I think this is the time where you look at names that are doing really well and start to be a little bit weary. Like, let's say, a Palantir, right? A classic example. Let's take a look at how that's doing this morning and see how it can continue performing. Palantir here, trying to recover today. Let's see what happens to it. This is one that I haven't been able to time the downside, so I'm not going to time it right now, but I am going to be looking to for it to show signs that these strong stocks are starting to move back down. So Palantir, that would be a cut down through the 73 today, and then actually going below that. So I'm going to actually alert back down towards like 73.40s as it's on its way down there to start to break, right? And so we'll see if we get down there. Big level to watch is 72.30s. That's where things could really start to get ugly for Palantir. All right, looking around out there, Soxal trying to get a little bit of a bounce there. We'll look to see if these names can stay hot. Of course, NVIDIA up 1.42% as it gets the bounce overnight, but we'll look to see what happens here towards the gates. All right, guys, smash the like out there. And, of course, we'll keep watch on some of those smaller names. NUKK, the nuke getting going, guys. I just talked about how this thing could get going, and look at the liftoff now from 9 a.m. since we just talked about it. It's up 23%. That thing just went from 1540s all the way up to 1860s, guys. This is why I wanted to put it on the radar. The truth is the 15-minute chart looks amazing. It's already gotten the pop, though. Now it's very hard to get this one. We'll see what happens out the gates. I hate trading names right before 9:30, but let's see what happens here. 9:30 hits right there. We'll see how the stocks trade there. Tesla straight down out the gates here, but looking for a bounce. We'll see what happens there in Tesla if we can get a bounce here. Strong bounce back there towards like 15-minute resistance will be the way that I can go shorting. So that would be, let's say, around the 473 area. So somewhere in that spot there, up there into the 473s could be the short, but I'll wait for it to come back through 470s if it does go back up there. Tesla getting the bounce there. rejecting the 469. So it's rejecting that trend line. We talked about it could be that rejection there off that 469. Look at that rejection there. Already a hard rejection there on Tesla. Let's take a look at the Qs. Qs getting a little bounce out the gates here. I'm looking at Apple here. It did pop right back up there. So let's see what happens with these names. I think that's something definitely to watch there is the big boys. How do those hold up? Microsoft, Apple, those types of names. NVIDIA straight down out the gates. NVDL, I've talked about it. Would we be able to get a play on NVIDIA short right back down? It's getting hit hard. Right back down she goes. 65.50s. Down she goes. Tesla, down she goes. Back through the 65s. Down to 63.50s, guys. So definitely maybe could have held on from my early price action, but didn't want to hold towards the open. We'll see if we're able to get another entry there in Tesla. Just going to continue battling today. Up 450. Ready to keep trading, guys. Did get an alert there from BIOA that did hit the $5 spot there and pulled right back off of that. So let's see if that one can really get going. $5 right there available to it. Now back to the 490s. Let's see if we can get, a small amount here and just maybe make a little bit here. So I don't mind 100 shares here, but just would need to catch a little bit of a dip there. And the spread just too wide there, guys. I'm going to leave this BIOA alone. Nuke, though. Nuke going right into the halt, guys. So I talked about how the potential moved, how this went up there to 22.50s, actually higher than that. This went up there to 24.40s. And look at that, guys. Look at the move on Nuke, man. What a crazy move, man. Hey, Mitch, I always had that same double present issue being a week after Christmas. Hey, day trade Tony, you know the life like me, man. The week after Christmas might be tougher than the week before Christmas, though, because I still get to milk those presents. I'm like, Christmas hasn't come. You can't act like you don't have money for my presents. Appreciate the love out there, guys. Stay safe out there. Keep trading. Let's see what we can come up with today. Changing the music, and let's keep it moving. But Nuke, man, what a move there in Nuke. NUKK. That thing could keep going. This is the type of stock where the gurus are in, right? They got in early. They got in at that 9:15. Keep that in mind. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Q's straight down here out the gates. It did bounce for a second there and then right back down. So Tesla's still trying to bounce, but we'll see what happens if Tesla does get the flush on today. I'm trying to respect it and let it go up first, squeeze out the shorts, and I'll get back after it. MOBX, another one that's making a move in the smaller game. And this is a semiconductor, so something definitely to keep watch there. Sound giving me an alert there. And of course, Sound AI. Look at this one, guys. Look at the AI stocks. Wow. SoundHound AI with a big lift there. How's Tempest? Tempest AI getting a hit down. I thought this would maybe get a bounce there. How's Classic AI doing this morning? That's getting a nice little jump up here. We'll look to see if that can continue going. Nice little break to the upside. This has been hanging up here. So could keep going there. And that's a good looking move there. That's AI 2.0. If you're thinking about a theme, that's play there. PLRZ. We've talked about how this one could get the move back through 3. It's back through 3 there, guys. So PLRZ looking good here. Might try to get a little bit here. I'm going to at least try to get... Oh, it's on the halt, man. I missed this one, guys. It's already halted. So missed this one, guys. It already just took off on me. I'm not going to be able to get PLRZ now, but there's a reason why I had it on the radar and was looking for the move right back through towards 3. And there it is to 309 and on a halt. All right, we'll take a look around at that one. 2 names in halt right now, PLRZ and Nuke. We'll look to see if we see some other ones go to it. Here's another one. Looks like it might go into a halt. It's already a little bit too high for me to chase it, but SKYT taking off here. Semiconductor, Sky Water. Well, the sky definitely is there. Now we'll see if we get some water. RR, Rich Tech, man. Serve could be names that could get a lift there today. The robotics names, right? We'll see if those can get the push. Rich Tech pushing there to 155. Where's my man Wisdom? That one's doing pretty well there. All right, we'll see if some other AI names keep moving, but definitely seeing the lift off in some of those. Big push there. Nuke, has that reopened? We'll take a look at that. Oh, about 4 minutes. That's about to reopen there in Nuke. All right, looking around to see what's moving on the 5 minute. Of course, I'm seeing another one here, GV, Visionary Holdings. This is an educational one, so it's a little bit scary. Just popped to 3, could come right back down. Not enough volume on this one for me that stands out. Sound is doing really well. That could be moments away from getting into a push into a halt. QBTS, getting a little lift there towards the 870s, looking like it wants to break the 9 today. So these quantum plays staying hot right now. QUBT, how's that one doing here? It did come down and now it's reversing right back up. So I think you got to continue watching these. It's going to be a little bit of a back and forth action right now. Q still weak here. VIX taking off there to the 4440s. So big important spot as it recovers back above the 44s today. We'll look to see if the VIX can keep moving. I'm not going to trade the VIX today. I've been giving up too much money to the VIX, so I'm going to leave it alone. SPY still pretty weak also. So the downside, not turning around. If I look at the sectors right now, I see industrials up and healthcare up from the open, basic materials. In the red, there's some stocks. It's not much though. And I think that's interesting because the Qs are still down. Let's see if this can lift the tide back up, or if the Qs still leak, will the sectors go red? Because overall, it's not looking too bad right now. All right, if I take a look at that, I see that utilities are down a little bit, but we have had some bounce there. Technologies trying to get back towards the opening and get back into the green. So I just think you got to keep watch today. Industrials is where I see some strength. And where am I seeing that? Let's go take a look here. I'm seeing Caterpillar with a nice little move. I'm seeing GE. I'm seeing Honeywell, Deere get a nice little bounce there. So watching that action here. Here's a General Dynamics of 1%. Seeing metal fabrication up big there. So looks like some of those names having a pretty good move today. How are steel names doing? Been keeping an eye out to see if some of these steel names would start making a move back, but they have not. All right, looking around out there, guys. PLRZ, of course, that one was stuck at the $3 spot. We'll look to see how that one opens up. Let's go to Nuke. Nuke opened up and halt on the downside. So that was vicious there in NUKK. QUBT now getting a little lift there now towards 2070s. So definitely seeing a little push off of that. OKLO trying to recover the VWAP. So not looking too bad there in OKLO. That's going to make me look at NNE. That's one of the names that I wanted to watch today. We did just come down to the 26 spot, which is an important support. Let's see if we can bounce off of that and start to get into the green. I think the big thing I'm watching is the Qs are still weak, because if they're still weak, I think eventually the market follows it. I need to see some strength come back into some of these bigger names. If I look at the SPY to see what's leading there, I can clearly see that there's some airlines showing up there. There's some solar names pushing there. Love is one that I like, guys. So I'd keep an eye out on this one. I don't think this is just a fake out on Love. This is a good looking pullback that's having a pretty decent opening action. So pullbacks to 33 makes sense for me on Love. We'll see if we get that opportunity. I don't mind it there just because this is a good looking stock there. We just need to pull back. We'll see what happens on that one. JetBlue is one that I've been watching also on this move. And you can see how it's lifting above the 757. Could start pushing towards the 770s and maybe make a run to 8 on JetBlue. Pullbacks below the 750 is what looks good on there. I'll see what happens there. There's that pullback towards the VWAP. We'll look to see if it holds. I'm seeing American Airline being one of the leaders right now, and it is pushing up there in the airlines. And of course, the industrials are green, and where are the airlines? They're in the industrials. So that could see the lift, and it's the second leading industry in industrials today. Love and DAL. Let's take a look at the leaders. Nice rip out in DAL. So it's getting a leader push. DAL, UAL. If those could continue, I could see the other ones also getting that lift. Like ULCC is getting a lift right now as Frontier Group. And you guys know there's not a lot of people that like this one. SkyWest, of course, is another one that's recently kind of shown up there that I keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens with these. Allegiant Travel doing pretty well. Not a bad looking chart there on Allegiant, to tell you the truth. This actually looks like an interesting investment, Allegiant, but Just calling it out there, guys. QBTS now getting the spike and continuing, guys. This is just ripped there, guys. So the quantum play is just pushing strong there. Now from 825 to 978. This is a play that I tell you guys the truth, guys. I just haven't been able to capture. I still remember when I wanted to trade QUBT when it broke $3. $3. We were watching it here on the show. It's now a $22 stock. That's crazy, man. Q still weak, still weak. We'll look to see if the strength comes back in. NNE, though, recovering fast off that 26. So this is looking pretty good there. OKLO going to be looking pretty decent too. There it is, up to 22. We'll see if these can keep going. CCJ, what about the uranium play? That's also come down a little bit there. URA getting a nice little spike there. So definitely seeing it out there, man. CCJ is another way to play this. Pull back to 54.20s, held really well there. We'll look to see if this starts to push back here. And of course, this is that uranium style play that could help, of course, nanonuclear, SMR. That's having a good little start of the day there. A nice little push above the 23. Woo! Got to take a deep breath after that one. PRZO back down to 260s. So that one did not hold on after that little spike there. Let's take a look here. Got up there towards 270s. We'll look to see if that one can keep going. What was the other one that I wanted? It's PLRZ, which was opened up at 309 there. Came back towards the $3 and then ripped to 370s, 380s. This was a good looking setup that we talked about in the pre-market. I just wasn't able to nail it out the gates. I would need to focus only on this one if I wanted to nail that one. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat. What's up out there? Having some issues on mine. The whole workspace is gone. When I try to put it together, I can't find the losers and winners watch list. So what you might want to take a look at is just make sure that you click like kind of like you're down, like go over it and highlight it. There's sometimes some things that will disappear, right? And so that's one thing that I will tell you. Just go over your icon and look for it. You can click on it and it'll reappear. And if you're having issues with the way that it's set up, one thing that I would do is set it up and then also go in the top left, and you can actually save kind of the way that this is, that like kind of your setup, right? And so that's what I would do, right? Another thing to do is to maybe lock it, right? There's another way that you can lock it so you don't change it. And don't forget on the bottom left, you also can do different work spots. But I would definitely save it after you get that kind of default setup, right? And so definitely take a look at that. And you can definitely also save the way the charts look. There's so many different things. Look in our YouTube or hit the help button to go ahead and learn more about this, right? We have a lot of videos, but if you're the type of person that just wants to look at a website, take a look at it here. And this should help you also. All right, let's go ahead. Had a 30% plus day yesterday. Let's go. Let's go. Love to hear it. All right, let's go towards Tesla. Let's see what happens out there. Q's overall still trying to come back there, but Tesla back to 467. Doesn't want to get the rip higher here. Did go down to 462, man. That's a tough one not to have a little bit of a piece on, right? I wish I would have had a little piece, but hey. That's just hindsight 2020. Let's see if we can get the push back towards 470s and then the breakdown. AMD coming back a little bit there. The Qs are coming back there. Micron, though, remember we talked about if we have a bullish day, this is a nice setup. It's having a pretty nice day to start. NVIDIA reversing back up, right? It went red to start, now going right back up. This is another reason why you're starting to see the stock start to climb. NVIDIA not coming down here. That's going to give an ability to at least get some of the strength back in the weak ones. But the strong names are pretty weak here. Apple, pretty weak here. Microsoft, pretty weak here. Google, pretty weak here. I think we're going to go back to the red here. I'm just looking for the way, when does this want to break down here? The VIX is telling me that also. It's up and nice elevated to the 44s. I think you're starting to see some of the leaders start to give up. PLRZ now up to 422, guys. I'm just glad I talked about this setup, how it looked good on the 15-minute. Nice little undercut there right before the gates as it was looking to 3. Recovered 3 and got the move. Kang, a next one up there, guys. This is a auto truck and dealership one. Really getting the spike there. Now up there towards 877. So many of these are just pushing and pushing, guys. W Key, another one that was moving yesterday. We'll see if these can keep pushing. Archer having a big rip, guys. So definitely seeing that. This is that kind of mobility theme. So we're seeing the mobility theme get a little bit of a lift. This seems to me like just momentum in the growth names, and that's what you're seeing out there. So PRZO is actually in that similar space. We'll look to see what happens here. Astrotech doing pretty well there. I'm just looking at some of these smaller ones. Sideview even getting a little lift there. That was making a move, right? We'll see if it can keep pushing. Momentous, the name that I got caught in yesterday, having a decent day already. We'll see if it actually pushes back. QBTS up there to 1023s. We'll look to see if it starts to come back down, but this is just ripping, guys. Ripping. QUBT up there to almost $23 now. What a move here, guys. So this is just continuing to rip off. Look at the breakout, guys. It's 226% for QUBT. All right, Q still looking heavy here, guys. We'll see what happens here, but they are still looking a little bit heavy. Tesla up there now starting to bounce back. So in a little while, we'll look to see if we can get that to short, but definitely seeing the bounce back come back in. Q's coming back there, 535. We'll see if it gets up there back towards 536 or 535 rejection here. QMCO, now we're getting the other quantum name to start taking off. So this one has a lot of room to run. So this one doesn't look too bad. It just got the spike there from 23 to 25. We'll see if it can just continue to lift off. And you can see it on the 1 minute, really starting to get some of that volume also starting to juice in. Rigetti now starting to take off. So all the quantum names on the up move right now. Triple D, 3D system also getting a little lift there. Desktop metals. I mean, come on, guys. It seems like it's a overall rally in some of these theme plays, right? Nicola getting a little lift there. Definitely. They're just moving all around. Rich Tech. QuantumScape, that I talked about the battery players and how those have been hot lately. This is actually making a decent move there is QuantumScape. I'd keep an eye out on that. Microvast is also another one to keep a watch on there. And then you can take a look at different kind of players in your battery plays. I saw some other ones this morning moving. MTech, electronic components, trying to get a little bit of a lift off the 369. We'll see if it goes back there towards 4. Q's dropping some further here. So looking at the weakness there. Still no weakness in Tesla. So not going to go and reshort Tesla just yet. Love taking off there. All right, send an alert back down towards closer towards this 670 spot. We'll look to see if it actually comes back towards that spot, but that's the only way that I look at Tesla as a short, back below the 470. I don't know why I said 6. NUKK coming right back up, opened on the down hole, but trying to get the push right back up. This one's going to be moving all over the place. It just seems a little bit too dangerous for me, but hey, you guys make your own calls. RGTI taking off there now towards 1268. This was just at 1150s when we first brought it up there. Man, what a move there. And some of these quantum names, QBTS, QUBT, QMCO, Rigetti, just taking off. IonQ still in the green. Wow, Just these four, just really, really just take off. There's Tesla right back down through that 420s. The Qs are still looking pretty weak. They haven't hit VWAP. That tells me something to be careful about. VIX still looking strong there. SPY still looking pretty weak, but did go back to VWAP. This is going to be an important level to watch on the SPY. Can you get through here on the 604.21, or will you reject? Apple looking a little bit heavy, but watching Apple to see if it can come back into the green. I think that's the important thing to watch. It's 9:45, almost 10 o'clock now, 9:51. I think at 10 o'clock is when I'll start to look to see if the weakness comes back in. Tesla already rejecting that 470 heavy rejection there. So now I start looking at 5-minute charts and I say, hey, okay, well, we rejected around this level here, this 471 level, right? So back up there one more time and failing is what I'll be watching for on Tesla. The big part of here is the Qs. The Qs, if they go right back to the lows, I think Tesla is right back down. And so looking at NVIDIA to see if it can go red, it just pulled back to the VWAP, giving an opportunity on VWAP here on the 134.50s. Does it break through the 133s on the downside? That's going to show me that, yeah, you want to flush out the bulls, even in NVIDIA. Taiwan Semiconductor doing a lot better than NVIDIA right now. That's one that I keep an eye out for if we start to get some up action. SPY is one thing to watch there. We'll see if it starts to come back. And I'm watching the sectors overall. It's still not looking ugly out there. So I think this is really interesting that we're still seeing the downside in the Qs, but the technology overall on an equally weighted basis hasn't gone red. Let's see if we start to see some red across the board, and that could be a sign of concern. If not, then the comeback is on, and we'll be watching to see if industrials can stay strong and technology can get back into the green. Watching Apple, watching different names out there, just trying to read the sectors right now. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat. What's up out there, guys? VRAR getting the lift there, guys. So if you're looking for a name that's starting to get the move, there's VRAR. Palantir, what's up? Hey, always here to help, my friend. If you have any questions or maybe something specific, you can also reach out in our Discord. If you don't know our Discord, right in the description below, you should be able to find a link, and definitely go over to the Discord and ask them a specific question. They're there to help also. Especially with setup. I mean, you can definitely figure it out with that team. All set with the workspace? Love to hear it, man. All right, like always, guys, let's see if we can catch some of the movers out there. OKLO with a nice little push up there. NNE now right back down. So I think I'm just waiting to see the Qs if they want to go green or not. Talked about how 536 could be that rejection. We are climbing back on the day. Let's see if we get another takedown later in the day. This is why on Tesla, I'm just trying to be like waiting until I want to go short again. All right, let's take a look to see if maybe some retail names are starting to get the up move. I'm keeping a very close eye on the XRT right now because it's looking like it could drop any moment, but also could stay hot. Ulta is getting a nice little lift today. I talked about Lulu, Ulta. Those are two of the names that I'm watching. Lulu's on the red side, Ulta's on the upside. So I'm just looking into the retail space to see what's doing well right now. Children's Place. I don't know what these are. These are some other ones I wouldn't pay attention to. Gap is doing pretty well. A&F continuing, guys. So A&F was just at 137 down on Thursday. On Friday, I started talking about maybe reversal in the A&F, and it's right back there about 12% since we started talking about it. And what is it doing? It's approaching the up end of a trend line and could really start to get going towards the 160. This is not a bad one to watch, A&F. AEO could be getting a little bit of a push back because of that. So I'll be keeping an eye on it, but it's still pretty weak here. Urban has been one of the strongest stocks. Now could start to pull back. We'll see what happens there. If we do get a red day, this is not a bad one to watch to see a little bit of a turnaround come in. Qs overall still chomping around. It's not really getting the lift there, even though some stocks are. I will say that there is some stocks on the upside in the Qs. You got GFS, nice move. AMAT on semiconductor. ARM right on the VWAP. NXPI right on the VWAP. So let's see what happens here with those types of names. Definitely seeing Micron with a nice little push and now come right back down. So I think you're seeing a little bit of some chop. Let's see what happens here in the Qs. Do we get a rejection back and below the VWAP? I think we still got a little bit of some lift here, and then I'll look to see if we get that downside. Right now, I'm looking also at the smaller names to see what's going on in those. Up in the last 15 minutes, you still got MTech still on that upside. That doesn't look too bad. 377s. We'll look to see if it breaks 4. UMAC now getting the lift, guys. This one could go into a halt, guys. Of course, this is unusual machines, and you guys have heard about Donald Trump Jr. on this one. It's trying to get the push through 13. Was pushing this morning around 12. Now you're getting the lift back through 13s here. We'll look to see if they can continue. Unusual machines. Big rip there towards the 13. Rigetti still doing pretty decent on those. You got to be careful with those quantum names, guys. They're going to go up and down in a hurry. And these are names that I think, especially if you're trying to short these names, you got to wait till you start to see that red candle on the daily, because it's a lot of danger trying to short them early. Not saying you can't do it, but I'll tell you, it's going to be hard. Microvision. Battery plays, guys. Battery plays are definitely standing out to me. Tesla now starting to reject again there. It did do another up move here. So now it's 1, 2 up moves. It could start to flush down here. Let's see the Qs. What's going on there? We're trying to hold up here around the 535.50s. The SPY, though, did make a move up there, and then now you're seeing Tesla right back through the 470 spot. I'm trying not to overreact on that 470 spot. I'm still waiting, guys, because I have a feeling we'll see a little bit bigger breakdown if we continue to wait and be patient. All right, looking around out there, NVIDIA getting the bounce, right? We talked about how it was on the VWAP bounce. It bounced and now coming right back down. So I think we just got to be patient. Patience is what's going to pay, I feel like, today. And I'm going to try to maybe do my best on the patient side. Nuke now going up for another halt on the upside. So the nucleus definitely going to make you think about your nucleus. Definitely. It's a fast mover, man. AI getting a little bit of a lift there. Sound was one of the strongest ones earlier. It's back to 21. It's back to the VWAP. You're looking for VWAP opportunities. This is one that looks like an opportunity. I'd like to see it go to 2070s and then get back above the 21s, but we'll see what happens there in sound. QMCO starting to pull back. That got to 2650s. So you're getting some pullback opportunities on those quantum names. Now the only thing is, can they hold their 9 EMA and recover? SkyYT, of course, the semiconductor ripping today, guys. This one's up there to 1740s and holding well. What a strong rip there in SkyT today. Look at that. Trying to take the high there on the 760s. Definitely extended away, but we'll see if it starts to pull back. SkyYT. Archer pulling back now. Tesla back below the 470s. Q's looking a little heavy here. SPY above the VWAP. So just going to be patient, guys. We'll wait to see the real downside if it does come in or not. All right, looking at the sectors to try to see if maybe I can catch something that's up and ride the trend. Financial services getting a little bit of a bounce back today. So take a look at XLF. If you want to see the stock stay strong, take a look at some of those names to see if those names could bounce back. Of course, you're talking your banks, your JPM, your Bank of America. Can those get the bounce today? They are getting the bounce and a little bit of love. Let's see if they can stay in favor here. JPM a little bit lower there, but Bank of America getting a nice little bounce back there. Wells Fargo also getting a little bounce back. So just taking a look at some of these banks. Goldman Sachs bounce back. These have been interesting. Thoughts on AMD? Let's take a look. AMD definitely is a stock that has a lot of traders watching it. I will tell you guys that. But just doesn't get the love right now, guys. It's going to take a while to get this to turn. I think you watch the monthly on AMD. Wait for a monthly green bar before you get too excited about this one. Has a tendency of faking out. I'm going to erase all the lines and show you what I pretty much see. You could be coming right back towards this line and you rejected it, right? And so right now, I think we need to get back above, let's say at least 140 for me to take a look at this chart to the upside. So it's definitely more downside approach, I think, from here on the daily and weekly until you get back towards like 140. Q is right there towards that almost 536 recovery. So we'll look to see it. I think that's an important level to watch right here. Of course, we broke down all the way from the 536.91, but there's a kind of support here that could act as resistance right around that 536 level. Q still kind of struggling there, but hanging in there. All right, looking around out there to see what else is being talked about in the news. Let's go, guys. All right. Of course, a lot of FOMC talk out there. I always think this is funny when they start to bring on all these guys because they're going to continue talking about it, right? Here's the leak, at least a little bit in the Qs. Now the only question is, do I react early to the leak? I might actually have to at least try here to see what happens. Still reacting early here, so I'm going to be waiting here, but I'm looking to see it. The SPY attempting, the Q's attempting down. The SPY still holding well. QUBT holding well right now in the 2270s, but it could come down in a hurry. I honestly don't know what to think about these quantum plays. They're definitely extended for me, and it's hard to trade them here. Let's see how Coin and those players are doing. Coin on the downside and on crypto action. Let's see CleanSpark also down action. ETHU down she goes. Q still struggling, guys. They're struggling at the VWAP. That's not a good sign for the bulls today. Tesla getting weak here. We'll see what happens. Trying to be patient here. All right, team. What's going on out there, guys? What are you looking at? So thoughts on the banks for rate cut? Yeah, rate cuts are good and bad for banks, right? I mean, it's thinking that at the end of the day, money could come back to the banks because when interest rates come down, there's not this sexy alternative out there. There's usually what's called the TINA trade, right? And I think that the TINA trade was dead for a long time where, you know, we were looking into more the market could outgrow any savings account or things like that. But for a while there, we were getting savings accounts to, let's say, 5%, 6%, right? CDs, right? And I think that that's what was a little bit of cause of concern for even the banks itself, right? I mean, you're definitely going to be looking at some of these to get those CDs, but there was also these accounts like, let's say, keeping your money in Robinhood or Interactive Broker, where it was gaining that type of money. Now that's slowly going to go away. With these rate cuts, those will start going away. And where will you start looking for more attractive returns is probably into those savings accounts, as they're just, you know, more predictable with the changes that are going on. So that's something to think about with the banks. Overall, I think it's just deregulation that could help the banks, and that's just Trump taking the foot off and letting the banks do pretty much what they want to. And that's a good and bad thing, because banks will find a way to make money. That's what I've always known. But they might do some immoral things in the process. And why? Because they're money driven. I can't blame them. At the end of the day, money's money. That's exactly what happened in 2008. They didn't care about who was buying the houses. And why? Because the situation was, we're going to make money regardless. And they did. So we'll see what happens now in that situation. Market continuing strong here. Look at the Qs. Look at the Teslas right back up there. 536, big level to watch here. 1006, guys. I haven't taken a trade here. And the big part of that, I'm just watching the action. I'm looking at NVIDIA here. Let's see what happens, because NVIDIA still has a nice upside outlook, but could start to turn around here. Apple overall is another one that's starting to push now. And so that's a good level. So unless Apple goes red, I'm still seeing the strength in there. Microsoft is pretty weak, but that doesn't mean anything, because what we're going to look to see is the other leaders. Rejection there in the Qs is very important. Now Tesla up over the high there around the 473, and you can see it near starting to get towards this kind of top channel spot. And that's why I wanted to draw that box. I drew that box earlier to see if we could get a short back up into this area. So it's definitely getting to the point where I'm thinking about getting short, but I'm still early on it just because of the Qs. So I need to see the Qs back below that VWAP to show me that, yeah, we want to break right back down. All right, looking around to see what else is being talked about in the streets. All right, not much there. I'm going to go to the scanners here to see what I'm seeing out there that it's moving right now. GXAI, another one that getting lift there. That was up this morning and now starting to push again towards the 420s. Pun intended there. We'll see what happens on GXAI. Sound, how is that on the VWAP? So if you're thinking we're getting an up day, well, Sound is a good looking setup off the VWAP there. And what I like now is that you got that undercut towards a 2075 that I talked about. 21 recovery was the level there. So Sound still looking decent here. Let's see what happens. I mean, there's a nice setup there on the $21 for it to recover 22. So at least you got the setup there on Sound. Let's see what happens now. So you can see this is kind of that setup where it can hold that little trend line and then start to make the move back up. Definitely back below 21s. I'd be a little bit concerned, but I did like this undercut towards 2070. Looking interesting there on Sound. QUBT coming back towards 2150s and bouncing. That's that third or fourth bottoming. So now if it cuts 21, it could be a real breakdown. If not, back up through the 23 is where you start to get hot. Nuke up there to 24.14, guys. Up there almost at 25. But this thing's an absolute crazy monster. So be careful out there, guys. There's no telling where this thing could stop. So just be careful with shorting a name like Nuke. And you can see it's just nuking off, man. This thing is just a complete crazy move, guys. Crazy move there on Nuke. I think we're going for another halt there on Nuke. Crazy, guys. Now that's 1, 2, 3 halts on the upside, 1 halt on the downside. So at some point, I think this turns around. But boy, oh boy, what a crazy mover there. All right, guys, what are you guys trading out there? Let me know what you guys seeing. HSAI being one of those smaller names that getting shorted today, definitely getting hit. UMAC went up to 13, pulled back a little bit there. The Q's still looking weak here. They're rejecting a little bit there now. All right, looking for that drive here to come and get stomped on. Let's see what happens now. We're starting to keep approaching a trend line breakdown here where I'm just watching the action to see what happens here. Q's still looking like they want to break, but it's going to be just a watch here. I think I'm looking for one more move back here where you get this kind of like move back into this area and then the takedown. But I'm really looking for a move a little bit higher towards like kind of 536 and then the cut down. We'll see what happens here. NVIDIA right on the VWAP. So you got opportunities to the upside here. Let's see what happens if it goes back. If the Q's just rip back, let's say 537, yeah, you're actually getting that move in NVIDIA. So, hey, it's how you want to take the look at it right now. Qualcomm also having a decent day there. So there are some names doing well. Micron is one to keep an eye out also. It's right on the VWAP, right? We'll see if this goes back to 112 or does it break right back down towards the 109. Q's making that attempt here now. We made that recovery, made the fake out to the downside. Now I needed to go up, and I'm not going to react on the up action. I'm going to wait to start seeing the weakness come in, and then I'm going to nail on it. This is what I tried to do yesterday when I wasn't doing it right. Like I was just trying to get ahead of it, and it was costing me. I'll wait for the breakdown and then just go hard on it. Disney bouncing back today, guys. Disney with a big bounce back towards 116, but it could just be a rejection short opportunity on the 116. We'll see what happens there on Disney. GXAI, time to shine. We'll see what happens with that one. Got up there to $4, 440s push. Now trying to reload, maybe closer towards the 4. TNXP getting a little bit of a lift. That's a 40-cent stock, getting a little bit of a push there. Nothing that I really like on that one, but definitely seeing it at least move. Kang Go, an auto truck dealership that got a crazy spike just a second ago, but then halted on the downside. So just be careful on this one. CANG. That one's a dangerous one. It just looks scary to me. QMCO continuing on the upside. So let's see if these quantum names can keep pushing. QUBT rejected the move, but still holding on onto the support here. QBTS now starting to come down there, and the Qs I'll be watching right now. I think this QBTS is looking interesting for a short now as it starts to break down. Take a look at the daily level. We're getting really close to yesterday's high and starting to lose altitude there. So this 944 is going to be very vital for it to hold. If not, it could come back to the 851 pricing of the opening price. So that's what I'm watching for. I'd give it that chance to break out to the upside, and then I'll look for the fail. And that's just if it fails, right? Right now, it's just looking at it. So this is that setup there. It's recovering the VWAP, could make an attempt to 10, and then really start to come back down. Qs overall get up there towards the 535.75, maybe 535.85. And now looking a little bit heavy here. SPY needs to start making a down move here. I'm just looking at Tesla to see when Tesla wants to make the crack. All right, looking around, trying to nail one of these trades there. QMCO up massively, 17%, and continuing now towards 28. So QMCO with a nice push there, 28.26, guys. I remember this one had just gotten going after the quantum names had moved, and we were at like 24.50. So big move there in QMCO up there now towards 28.16. Talked about on the daily how you had a lot of room on this. You still got room to run. So we'll see what happens on that one. Crazy stocks today, guys. Those quantum names, it's intense, that move. All right, we'll see if they do come crashing back down. Rigetti back towards 1140s. That was just up there to 1275. So there's a lot of action on these and a lot of ways to kind of make money and lose money because they're fast. CDIO at $1 here. I want to start trading here, guys. It's a 10:15. Time to roll the sleeves up. Time to see what's going on out there. Will we get some reversal on the 536? That's what I'm looking at here. If not, I'm ready to go ahead and trade to the upside. Micron would be one of those names I kind of keep an eye out for. SkyYT, man, this thing just keeps ripping, guys. Now $19. But I see what? 1, 2, 3 times to go to the high. We could start to pull back off of this 19 break here. But boy, oh boy, what a move there in SkyYT. And it's been a big push. I mean, overall, big levels there. One thing that I can see is every single time we've hit the top end Bollinger Band, we've gone to the 9 EMA. Top end Bollinger Band, 9 EMA. Top end Bollinger Band, 9 EMA. Right now, top end, will we come back to the 9 EMA here? That's something to look at. All right, SkyYT, I kind of like it for the 9 EMA attempt right back down. I'd like to see 19s hit for a second there and then come crashing back down. But I'm also just taking a look there. The Q's just rejected to get back up there. It's just a watch now. Wait and see approach for me. SkyYT already getting a little bit of a breakdown there. Let's see what here. They've just rejected that 875. We'll see if it gets back to the 9 EMA. That's the 1825. And then it could break down to the VWAP, right? I mean, it's had a really good day. 15-minute could put it back to $17 on that one. That'd be trading within the range, essentially. GXAI recovering $4. So I talked about how 4 is trying to hold there. We'll look to see if it can hold. What about Sound? Sound made the move up there like it wanted to break to above the 2450s, and now looking like it wants to break down. It's just hanging on, waiting for the market here, I feel like. There's some rejection there now starting to come in here in the SPY and the Qs, but it's not much. I'm just being patient and waiting here. QUBT does have a VWAP opportunity to the upside, right? I mean, there's this setup. I mean, anyone could clearly see that setup on the 5-minute. We'll look to see if it goes right back up there to 24s, or is it back down towards the 19s? Q is rejected right now towards 535.95. So that could be the spot where we just finally tick to the upside. Tesla still up there, 575 now on Tesla. Gotta move up my, gotta set an alert here on the lows of Tesla. So 473.30s would get me to start looking at it. That's what I'm doing. I'm just putting the lows on the recent 5-minute lows and waiting for those to break. Waiting for the higher low trend to break. NVIDIA bouncing a little bit, tried to get above the 135. Let's see if they start to hit it on the downside now. So you see how it's set up there for a nice breakout and now it's coming back? This is going to be a big watch, right? It could have easily broke out and gone up into this space. Now we'll look to see if we go back into this space, right? And so that's what to watch, I think, for NVIDIA. SkyYT, man, up there towards 19, just went right back down there towards the 18. So I had the opportunity there. It's just a quick trade. Q's rejecting there, now starting to get back underneath that line here. So I'm watching that line here to see if we can get a close below it and start to show a little weakness there. SPY holding well, though. That's holding well. CVS having a good day there, guys. What a crazy move in CVS. That's an interesting one. And it's held the trend, that's for sure. Clover Health. I remember this one used to be a retail favorite. QUBT. I'll see if that one gets above the VWAP there. Sorry, I went to the tick. You can see how it's trying to build up, but just still can't make the move right now. Tesla's like the cockroach that never dies. Well, I'll tell you what, I've killed all the cockroaches that I have found. So we'll see what happens on Tesla. My view on NAS 100. Unfortunately, I don't look at the NAS 100. I can just call the NASDAQ if you guys want me to do that. But I just look at the Qs right now, and I'm just keeping an eye on it to see if we get a rejection here. And I think it's important because I feel like the rejection's more important than the up move right now, especially with the setups that I'm seeing. Micron, of course, rejecting the VWAP right now. I'm just keeping an eye on it. The Q's still like kind of just chomping around here, but not breaking down just yet. Nuke, though, right? We talked about how that one could reopen. Now 1, 2, 3 holds. Now on the fourth hold on the upside. Now to $30.76, guys. What a crazy move on that one. Tesla just gave me the alert that it's starting to drop there. Now the Q's starting to drop there. I'm going to start looking to get a little starter here in Tesla. So just looking to see if this can go right back through the 473s, trying not to be overreacting, right? 473s is my level on Tesla that I'm looking at right now. Got to look at Apple. Apple up there to 253, holding well. Microsoft. Rejecting. So I'm watching like stocks like that, Microsoft, Amazon, to see what happens on those names, because it's going to be prudent here to watch the big boys. So you can see how where Apple rejected is where we're starting to slow down, right? So the 15-minute rejection right around this 253. All right, let's see if we get some weakness in. If not, I don't need to go short, right? So you got this wick attempt there that didn't really break down. Just got to be patient. Got to be patient. That's what it's all about, team. eBay, looking around what's doing well. eBay ripping, man. eBay's having a hell of a day. What's on the downside? I'm seeing some, yeah, definitely some internet, some cybersecurity companies taking a hit. AVGO pulling back also. Lulu pulling back. That's pretty red. Ulta, how's that doing? It's still holding on. Best Buy got a little bit of a lift there. XRT setting up for the up move here, but we'll see, man. I mean, this is one of those days where the market's just slowly stair-stepping up higher, but I feel like I'm looking for an elevator move down, essentially. And at least I'm not trading until I see that elevator move down, right? And so I'm trying to be patient there, but I don't see the strength in the Qs right now. I see some strength in some singular names, but overall, the market's just bouncing back to a 15-minute support. CDIO just broke above that $1 if you guys like those $1 names. BSTE not going anywhere, man. SkyYT got back up there to the 1890s. Could start to reject here. It's been a strong move in SkyYT, man. Strong move for sure. Looking around out there, guys. Looking around. Watching that Tesla. We did just make a little bit of a high there that it's an interesting one because they went right into that kind of channel and then turned around. So I talked about how we could see this channel line, right? And look how it came right around that area and then kind of turned right back around. So just keeping an eye out on that level here above the 447s. 477s, if that breaks, if it's above 477s, the short's no longer on whatsoever. So I got to know where the rejection levels can be. We went to 475, 77. Let's see what happens here. All right, we'll see what happens on the Qs. Qs starting to reject there now, starting to show a little bit of that red candle there on the 5 minutes here. We still got a little bit left on this candle here, about 30 seconds, but it's so important to watch that. Now I'm starting to see that cut down there start to be available to me. So now I'm seeing that Tesla cut down actually starting to look prudent. All right, guys, going to get a starter here. All right, trying to get filled here on the starter. Starter on, guys. 50 shares short there, Tesla. Looking for it to come back towards the 9 EMA, and then I'll add another 50. Got to be patient here. Now I'm seeing the Qs, and the Qs are going to be my big sign there. Also watching to see Microsoft go back down towards the low, which is 448. Keeping an eye out on Apple. That's going to be a watch to watch. A stock to watch. A watch to watch. QUBT just broke also, so started to see some weakness in those names, the quantum names, and that was an attempted breakdown there on QUBT. So QUBTS now starting to break down. These are starting to look interesting here for some shorts. QMCO is still near the top, and that one's just starting to lose altitude. So we are starting to see a little bit of some downside setting up there. QBTS could just keep coming down now. Of course, the daily is starting to look like it's starting to break here. We'll look to see if it bounces off a 9 here and then comes right back up to the VWAP and then rejects. So 940s rejection is what I'm looking for on QBTS. Let's go back to Tesla here. It is getting a little bit of a bounce here. Could reject into the 474s, 475s. Watching the Qs. Qs kind of came down here. Now I'm looking for them to break the VWAP to tell me to go for the swing. We'll see if it breaks it and rejects it on a 5-minute. So that's kind of like a move right here towards like 535.70s. Starts to go towards 535.25s on the Qs. Patience here. Patience trying to hold on Tesla. Look for the breakdown back below the 9 EMA on the 5. Now we're on the 1 trying to create this right-hand shoulder. So the right-hand shoulder could be right around this 470 area, and then the downside comes back in. I'm not going to add just there because it could easily pop to 475s. So I'm just keeping that in mind here. You can see the pop happening, right? It popped right over it. Let's see if it wicks here and comes right back down through the 474. Looking to see if it wicks and doesn't go through the high. There's those quantum names starting to break down. Let's see if QUBTS. No bounce there on QUBTS. These could just start the breakdown here. Ion Q is another one to watch for the weakness, and you can see how that one went weak there. Will Palantir go weak now? I think we got to continue watching these. Micron was a nice little setup there. Will NVIDIA come right back down? NVIDIA is actually making the up move here. It could be a fake out, but it is doing the up move. The 15-minute chart looks strong on NVIDIA. Q's trying to recover this 536 area. So looking at the 5-minute to see if we can just get a rejection from this line right back down, but got to be patient. Tesla 475s now down almost about $100 here. Max risk on that is about 200, about half of what I already have in Tesla. But we'll see if it gets through the high. That's when I start to really actually get concerned. All right, this looks like a nice right shoulder now. Let's see if it can really start to go back to the red on the 5-minute. Apple's starting to cut down. That's a good sign there. Let's see what happens on those. Micron setting up for the up move here. So if you're looking for a bullish setup there, there's a nice setup there, right? I always tell you guys multiple setups, positive, bearish, bullish. You can see it right here, how it's trading, right? It's in the symmetrical triangle, trying to understand where it's going to go, right? So we'll see what happens there on Micron. Q's right around this 536 level. I'm looking at it right now to see if we get this rejection on 536. Rejection right on the 536 break, and it's right back down. Let's see if it gets strong here, or does it go back to the red line? QUBT got a little bounce there and then just kind of rejected back down. So just got to keep your eyes on these now. QBTS back above the $9, trying to get a little bit of a pop. Could quickly go back up there towards like around the 949, 950. Q's rejects a little bit, but holds on here. So I'm just keeping a very close eye on it. And Tesla is still pushing and chugging. So just got to be careful on Tesla. It's okay to get out and get back in. Nice rejection on that right there on Tesla. So now let's see if the Qs can get a little bit of some weakness. Watching it on a 5 minute. The 1 minute's not going to help us here. Let's see if it breaks that red line on any down action here. Back above the 536, we'll look at like Micron to the upside. So I always want to have a play on the flip. So the flip to me is Micron. You'll see NVIDIA kind of take off. You can see Apple hold and actually start to push. Microsoft is right on the VWAP, so that could actually turn around. AMD, pretty down there. Nothing much on that. What about Marvell? Marvell in the red there. AVGO still red on the pullback. SkyYT. Stock that was moving up there to the 19 earlier, now starting to break down, now looking like it wants to come to the VWAP. So it did get up there towards the 19s and then start to cut down. So that was a nice approach. Q's overall just chopping around out there. We'll see what happens. Tesla's still chopping around out there and approaching that top side of the Bollinger Band. So just keeping that in mind, because I'm not going to let it go back through that top end. Nice little blow off top looking candle there. Now could start to come back down, but back through that candle, and you got to be careful. All right, we'll look to see if we start to make that down move now. The Q's rejecting a little bit there. Still not breaking down though. We're still like kind of just chopping around out here. So just be careful out there, traders. It's 10:33. I am going to be wrapping up at 10:45, guys. Today is my birthday, so I'm going to try to get out a little bit early as I go to try to enjoy the day. But I hope you guys have been enjoying it, guys. What's up out there, guys? KCH just won't stop falling right now. Halt after halt, all red. Day trade with Tony. I hope you're able to nail that one. Nuke. Thanks, Mitch. Hey, that's all I can do, man. That's all I can do. You know, one of the things is I'm always going to be able to tell you guys what's moving. If you guys want to know what's moving, I will be on top of that. How to trade it, you guys got to be able to trade these fast ones. Even I struggle on these. Appreciate the birthday mention. Like always, having a good day today, right? And trying to keep it, right? I've already had a nice little trade on Tesla. Not going to risk too much on here, but setting up for a bigger trade, right? That's the trader that I am. I'm looking for those kind of swings and momentums a lot of the times. We'll see what happens now. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow, got to give a shout out to my man, Jorge in the house is going to be joining me the trade right here in front of you guys. So I wish Jorge the best. I know that he's probably struggling a little bit today. I know he struggled a little bit yesterday. I haven't heard from him today, but like always, man, I'm in your camp. I'm on your back. We're here to help each other. This whole community is here to help. So let's keep helping each other. Find moves that are moving, of course, talk about setups, make our own calls, but make improvements as traders. All right, let's keep going, guys. Looking at maybe going to the zoo with the boys, just kind of hanging out. Not going to do anything too crazy today. Getting a little older, man. We'll see what happens out there. Tesla coming back down here, close to my entry here. Now the Q's starting to lose a little altitude, but I haven't seen them really break here. That's what's keeping me out from adding on Tesla right now. But I'm looking at it for an ad here, especially if I'm going to get out of here at 10:45. Let's get after it, team. Let's see what we can do here. All right, guys, trying to add to the short here, trying to add to the short on Tesla. About 50 shares here. Not going to go too crazy, but just looking to add here. All right, just got a little bit of cut down back below that 474. I'm trying to get in right around that 474 spot, 473.90s around there, but I need a bounce to get the fill, right? Essentially looking to see if this can bounce back up and then really get the takedown. Let's see if we get a little bit more bounce. I'm just waiting here. If it cuts through my level, I can always add to it. But definitely starting to see a little weakness come in there. Now it's starting to appear weaker here. It definitely rejected that 474. So I'll know my risk if I get in at the 473 spot. But just trying to keep that in mind here because we could still bounce to 475. So that's the big thing, right? Just trying not to be too big too early. It's a big important spot there for Tesla. All right, guys, that looks pretty weak there. Now I'm looking for the Qs to kind of follow that red line. So you see that red line right here. We definitely did pull back a little bit, but not a breakdown. I think what we watch also is NVIDIA. Look at the strength that's staying in that one. And what is that? That's one of the leaders in the Qs today, right? If I look at the Qs, I see Tesla, I see NVIDIA, AMAT, and GFS as some of those names that you can look at. Qualcomm doing well today also. Microchips. MCHP, looking around at the top movers there. Let's see what's big on the downside. Downside, you got Zscaler getting a big hit, about 3%. PanW, a couple of rejections from that VWAP. Doesn't look too bad on the short side of things. AVGO has been red, big red there. We'll look to see some other names. KHC on the pullback. I've talked about that could go red because of the GIS, right? The General Mills. That's actually green, but some of the names in that space actually going red. Killanova was another name that I thought maybe could go red. We'll see if that goes red today. Q's trying to recover this 536 right back up there. So just like that, guys, we're right back up. So just got to be careful there with my Tesla ad. I don't want to add if I don't need to just yet. So canceling the ad right there. It is coming back. Didn't get filled. Still got the 50 shares. Just trying to stay within the range, right? Because if the Q's blow off through this 536, the trade is later in the day, not right now. So that's what I'm looking at. Sometimes it's just like that, guys. So I'm looking at the 5-minute here. Another thing that I can see is a kind of a trend line approach like this on the 5-minute where it could reject. So I'm watching that. Don't want to see, let's say, like 476 show up here. If it starts to go to 476, we're holding the 9 EMA on a pullback. Holding well there, now starting to bounce back. I think it's just the battle of the Qs and the SPY. The SPY is a lot higher, right? SPY is big up there towards 606, and a lot of that is the sectors that are leading the action. You got the cyclicals up there, and that's helping it out. Of course, you got auto manufacturer, department stores doing well there. XRT now starting to the upside, so definitely seeing some of that holiday rally out there. eBay is one of those names that's doing well. Dillard's is doing well. Target's doing well today. Best Buy up now, starting to make a nice little daily approach. So to keep an eye out on Best Buy. That's looking pretty decent there. 8N, AutoNation getting a little bit of a bounce there. How's my CarMax? That's bouncing a little bit. Nothing crazy there, though. Q's just chomping around out there, guys. This is going to chomp for a little while now. Now it's back towards 536, so it's definitely on the upside outlook here. So I'm just watching it here. Another push up, and I got to start getting out of Tesla. Another rejection there on the Qs to hold 536 there. We'll look to see if it actually holds it and closes above it on a 5-minute. Nice rejection on the trend line there of Tesla. So Tesla rejected that trend line approach right here on the 475. Now starting to come down here. Now the Q's looking a little bit heavier. Let's see if we can really get that pullback now. QBTS, right? Those quantum names, definitely something to look at here. They're just kind of holding on, trying to make a break to the upside, but could make a hard break to the downside, right? So I think you got to continue to watch those, and it's going to be hard to play them. So yeah, QUBT came back to the 19s and trying to bounce back off the 20s, but could start getting cut. Apple holding the market up here, guys. Apple starting to push up into the green. That's not what I want to see. Microsoft trying to push into the green now. Google could push up there. So I think right now, you just got to keep watch. Tesla's coming back down towards me, but I'm going to go ahead and set a stop right above that recent high so that I at least have a measured out here. About 95 bucks. That's fine with me. Let's see what happens here. If it does break and go into the green, I can cancel my stop loss and start to look to see if I get an ad. But right now, the way that the Qs are trading, it's telling me to be careful with my Tesla trade. And I'd rather be careful with it and not push it early. That's the biggest thing about trying to trade a breakdown, is that if you trade it too big too early, you get wiped out. So coming back to get me right now is Tesla. We'll see if it gets me on the 95 out. But of course, I got 449, so I'll use that 100 bucks there to see what happens. Zscaler, it's still down big. Pan W still down big. That just rejected to go back up. So maybe we start to see that start to let go. Illumina also taking a big hit today. So definitely seeing some stocks in the red there. Looking around out there, guys, it's 10:42. Got about a couple minutes before I get out of here, but watching the action there. Now Rigetti getting hit hard there. QMCO that was above the VWAP just bounced on the VWAP. Now it looks like pretty much a head and shoulders, but it also still looks strong on a 15-minute chart, right? So it's a tough battle on these. QBTS there rejecting the 9 a couple of times. Down, bounce 1, down 1, down, up 2, down 2, up 3, down 3. Could bounce one more time to 9 and then see the flush down. We'll see what happens there in QBTS. I'm thinking about shorting this thing just to give you guys the perspective, but I would need a bounce to like above 9 here, and then it gets hit on the downside. The market going the way it is, though, this could easily come back. So I think you got to continue to watch the market today. It's a little bit of a mixed battle, right? The Qs are battling on the downside. The SPY is just climbing back. Uber climbing back today. CVS, some of the names that were beaten down, getting a little bit of some love. Target pulling back there. Tesla just chopping around out there. There's QBTS there. It's starting to try to spike there at 9. We'll see if it actually gets a spike. There's 909. There's about 6,800 shares at 924. Just to put that in perspective. There's the 909s. You're starting to get that comeback trail, right? You could get all the way up there to like 940s and then reject. That's what I'm looking at right now. Apple take off to the upside gets me a little bit concerned there. That means Tesla's taking off there, and there's the push higher as Apple lifts the market higher, guys. What just pushed? Apple just pushed. Nvidia is not really doing much. Microsoft is not really doing much, but starting to reclaim now. Google is still up a little bit higher, but definitely what was the one that moved there? It was Apple. Apple holding up the market right now as it's up there to 253. This thing pulled back on the hourly. It's right back at the hourly resistance. Qs overall back above the 536, now 536.50s. An important next level would be the 537s, but at this point, the red and that line never broke down. So now Micron looks good to the upside. It starts to break here above the 111s, could go right back towards the 112s. It's about $1 upside with about 30 or 40 cents on the downside approach. It's not a bad outlook there. I'm going to hold on the sideline here because the truth is I have a good amount of cash here. So thinking about just watching the action. Clean spark starting to come back there. That could get a little lifted. The Qs really lift off here. QBTS, though, did reject that 9. Could start going lower here as it starts to break the 8s. Doesn't look like it's coming back here on this one. So QBTS looks like it's starting to break down. We'll look to see if it really gets that break. Looks good there. Looks good on that rejection of 9. Everything else is breaking out, though. That's the hard part. You can see how it's trying to break this 870s, and once that goes, it could really start to break down. 15-minute, couple of bottoms around the 76, so really got to break the 70 spot for it to come back towards 8. There it goes, breaks the 70s. We'll see if we get a little bit of a recovery on that break because it's an important level. Apple up there to 253. Man, it's it got a little dull for me there. Nuke halted again, man. Crazy action. Is it halted on the downside now? No, it's not. It could go into a down halt here. Nuke looking interesting there, but it's traded too far for me to trade it, right? I need this to go sideways for a little bit. Sky YT, man, should have shorted that bad boy. Look at that thing. That thing broke down big. QBTS still looking pretty weak here. Did bounce a second here, but could get hit hard now. Honestly, this one's an interesting one. QBT did do a little bit of a spike and drop, so that's actually a better one to kind of get short into on that spike, right? QBTS didn't really get that spike. All right, there's a first cut down, guys. I'm going with a little bit of some short here, guys. I'm looking to see if QBTS can get short a little bit and start to really break down here. So I grabbed a little bit there, only 200 shares so that I can risk up there at least towards the 8 right now. So even towards the $9, that's only 86 bucks. But I do want to add to this. I'm just looking to see if the weakness really comes in on QUBT also. So QUBT, let's see what happens there. 1980s, will that get weak right now? Then I can go adding to this QBTS. So I'm just looking to see that the whole industry and this theme trade starts to get red. So IonQ going down, that's a good sign there. I'm going to go ahead and go with a little bit of an add there. Just added a little bit here, looking for a little further breakdown here in QBTS. Got 400 shares now, looking to see what happens here. QUBT could still go back up there, right? I'm just keeping a close eye on it, seeing if I can get a little bit more breakdown here on QBTS. So the breakdown was right through this kind of 70 spot here. It could still bounce to this spot right around the 78. All right, nice rejection back into the 50s here. Now I want to see if the 50s let go. If the 50s don't let go, I can get out and then look to get back in. There's the 50 let go. So nice looking action there on the 50 let go. So the 50 let go brought it down to the 832s now. And now I can look to see if maybe I get some bounce to short, but looking pretty good on the first action here. Now let's see if it can reject and then go right through that 830. All right, weakness coming back in. Let's see if it starts to hit down through that 840s now. The second, when it hits through the 840s, I'm going to go ahead and go break even on the rest because it could bounce here. There's a small little bounce. Rejecting right there off the 850s. I could see that rejection. Now let's see if it breaks the 840s here. Looks good to break that 840s here. There goes the 840s on the bid. And quick recovery through that 840s is a little bit of a sign of concern. I needed to break that 840. $263 rejection there is a good level to receive rejections off of. Could start to see this trade let go. Let's see if it lets go here. There's the 41 looking like it wants to break again here. So now what do we see? 1, 2, 3 bottoms on the 1 minute. It needs to break here. If not, I'm going to let it go. Bid right on the 40s here, but the offer jumping up too. So it's spreading out on me. Now the bid just jumped a little bit there. At this point, it should have already cut down. It's just being a little bit choppy on me. Yeah, there's the bounce there. Right back towards the prior support. Just doesn't want to break there. What's up out there, guys? I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Let's go ahead. I'll wrap it up, man. It is what it is. We'll see what happens if I'm able to make a little bit more cash on that. Up 349 for the day. Good birthday, guys. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with my man Jorge. So stick around to see what the competition winner and now funded trader can do in front of you guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like always, guys, smash the like. We'll keep pushing right here on Trade the Pool. And like always, hey, stay safe out there, traders. We'll see if we start to get some downside later in the day. Market is still struggling, guys. It's climbing up in the SPY. The Qs and tech is where I see a little bit more struggle. But they're stepping higher. So I think you just keep watching the big boys to see what happens there. All right, guys, we'll see what happens on that QBTS. It could reject still the 9 EMA here and go a little bit lower back through that 880, and I'll just probably cut it here. But that's it for me, guys. Smash the like, and definitely I'll be back tomorrow, guys. You hit the like. Appreciate all the birthday love. I'm going to go have some family time and spend some time with the boys and the wife, and maybe get out to the zoo, depending on the weather. We'll see what happens. You know, it's a zoo in the market. It's a zoo in real life, guys. We'll see you guys next time.